Excuse me. You. Yes, you there. If you would allow me, I would love to perform an impromptu diagnosis on you. Don't worry, it won't require any of your consent. Let's see here. Based on the singular piece of information I have, the fact that you're watching this video, we can make a couple assumptions. It's very likely you either A, have schizophrenia, and foolishly believe there is a handsome, bearded man asking you to watch some obscure YouTube videos, or B, you have OCD, which has led you uncontrollably diving down the depths of YouTube just happening to stumble upon this video, or C, you don't qualify for either of the former, but still exist in 2023, rendering you hopelessly depressed. Now, I know this is all very hard to swallow. Just seconds ago, you were blissfully undiagnosed. What do you do now? Don't worry. I have the perfect asylum just for you. From this day on, you are to exist wholly within the confines of WarThunder, lest your affliction contaminate others. What is WarThunder? Why, I'm so glad you asked. WarThunder is a free-to-play online military vehicle combat simulation video game. In WarThunder, you can play in 3 select game modes: tanks, planes, and pains. If you want help in choosing which game mode to start with, I'll give you some advice. Ground combat is for people who enjoy more tactical gameplay. Each and every vehicle in the game has unique armor, mobility, firepower, and utility, among other things. This means that along with the 100 or so maps in the game, each with their unique layout and playstyle, and you fighting unique vehicles every match, no game will play out quite the same. This freshness is compounded by the hundreds of vehicles available to you, the different loadouts you choose to take, and the 3 different game modes available for each vehicle type. These game modes are arcade, realistic, and simulation. For ground battles, arcade means that your tanks go a little faster, you aim a little easier, and most importantly, each tank comes pre-installed with wall hacking abilities. Because of this, I think arcade battles can serve as a useful tutorial for realistic, but gets a little annoying in the higher tiers because in high tier, everyone can kill each other from any point in the map, and giving everyone the ability to see other players directly through walls or foliage kind of makes the game unplayable. That's why I only ever play ground realistic battles. It maintains the core addicting gameplay loop of ground arcade battles, but with a little more charm. Some people find the uncertainty of not knowing their predicted shot penetration values before firing as frustrating, but I recognize it as what it truly is: my personal digital casino. Did you know around the turn of the century there were studies done on monkeys, testing their dopamine levels when given a reward? The study showed that the monkey actually was the most excited before the reward was given, and more frighteningly, that the dopamine experienced by the monkey when they only received a reward half of the time was doubled. So in conclusion, knowing that I am an ape at heart, I realize what I truly desire more than the actual satisfaction of getting a kill is the rush of not knowing whether each shot will be my last. Now, in comparison, in air realistic battles, you have the choice between flying up or flying less up. And then, once you find an enemy, getting the decision of how many bullets to fire at them and hoping it wasn't too much, lest you have to fly your shitty-ass airplane all the way back to the landing strip. Not only that, but unlike ground battles, there are no respawns. If it isn't obvious already, me and air battles get along about as well as Banesh and Mohammed. What is grind, you may ask? Well, which is why I do all my grocery shopping behind the fucking Walmart. Now, that being said, if you aren't in the mood to forfeit all hope of financial stability, but still want to get the full experience, then you better start playing like a true WarThunderite. Firstly, We begin with the founding delusion in which we all believe, the unbreakable faith in our capabilities. Do I mean our capabilities as unique and storied people with strengths and weaknesses? No. I am talking about the capabilities of my shitty-ass armored Kia Soul, upon which I have strapped some unlicensed firearms onto. To put it in terms that you can understand, the philosophy states that in the event you were unable to cremate an enemy player, it was undoubtedly your fault, and you easily could have won if you simply had a better mindset. After all, the only thing setting your shitty-ass armored car and the 60 tons of solid Soviet steel apart is the heart and soul of the players behind the vehicles. The idea that you simply should not fight every and any other player on the map, whether it is optimal, feasible, or even possible, is heresy. As any self-respecting player knows, it is not the 5 kills you already have that are important, but the 5 kills you could have gotten. You would think that in a game where death meant actually losing in-game currency would inhibit players from treating each game exclusively as a source for sick highlight clips, but here we are.
You're really gonna go for this?
Oh fuck!
Believe it or not, that was me in the airplane, meaning that clip was recorded by one of my bullet sponges. Yes, just like similar addictions like alcoholism, WarThunder can be done with friends. Multiplayer is a great feature where you get put in a lobby with your friends, spend about 10 minutes figuring out what nations you can both play with that doesn't result in an indefinite queue time, and then get in an argument over which one of you is going to remove their favorite vehicle to match the other player's battle rating. The game hasn't even started yet, and already we get to experience exhilarating conflict. Truly delightful. Afterwards, you can actually play together. Multiplayer can be lots of fun. The only problem is that due to the combination of how different your vehicles may be and how different your strategies are, very often you and your friends will become completely separated as your compatriots get reduced to nothing more but an angry death retort every 5 minutes. So, why bother even playing with friends, you may ask? Excellent question. If it weren't for this thing right here, I would have lost all cognitive function related to speech. Alas, just like the cruel, unforgiving world outside of my computer, WarThunder rewards having friends with monetary gain. And the only thing I hate more than other people is the idea of being poor. Jokes aside though, WarThunder can be really fun with friends. If you and your friend possess even a mediocre communication ability, you will easily outperform the opposition. The only problem is how difficult it is to find people deranged enough to join you. Tragically, you and I exist in a pre-WarThunder acceptance society, where if you are to go out in public and admit that you play WarThunder, you're suddenly treated as a substance abuser. Now what's the solution? Well, much like alcohol is not considered a drug despite our extensive understanding of the side effects it has on the human body, because if it were declared a drug, every Wisconsinite would instantly become unemployable and America would become cheeseless. In conclusion, we too must spread the gift of WarThunder far and wide until its roots are so deeply seated in our nation that the only option we have left is to coexist with it. Now, you may think there aren't enough of us to actually make WarThunder a global phenomenon, but I assure you, there are more of us than you may think. One day, I met a man in my English class, a seemingly normal man, I had thought. This assumption withstood a grand total of 10 minutes, as in that time he had efficiently spied on me and my laptop long enough to deduce that I played WarThunder. For context, I, at the time, had not fully succumbed to WarThunder, and consequently, still had a fondness for human interaction. Sadly, this led me into a conversation with the man that would reveal that he had invested around 8,000 hours and approximately 1,000 United States dollars into WarThunder. Now, I made the only decision I could, and feigned interest until I could escape from the class and take the necessary precautions. I haven't spoken to him since. In hindsight, considering my current WarThunder affliction, does my treatment towards this victim make me feel regret, remorse, shame even? I must admit, yes it does. Even great people must sometimes admit mistakes, and so, I own the mistake of not befriending such an advanced specimen. It is known that WarThunder's community is comprised of only the most sophisticated individuals the internet has to offer, and the devastation I have felt knowing that I have missed out on some stimulating social Darwinist philosophy pains me deeply. Now, if you'll excuse me, I haven't played WarThunder in over an hour now, and I can already feel the onset of withdrawal. I would like to thank you for watching my video and hope to see you in my crosshairs sometime. Have a blessed day.